are back with the Mayor's Budget Improvement Discussions. We have we have General Glenn Funk with us today. We also have some council members with us today. We have Councilman John Cooper. We have Councilmember Taneka Vercher, and anybody else back there? And I also see that we also have Public Defender Dawn Diener is with us. She's coming up next. General Funk, I know you brought a couple folks with you. If you wouldn't mind taking a minute to introduce who you've got, and then we'll talk about your operating budget and your capital budget request, if any. Just to remind the viewers at home that there is a lot of requests for funds. Our revenues will probably not meet the funding requests that we have, but we will do our best to allocate these dollars in a way that is the most meaningful for the taxpayers of Davidson County. And with that, please let me turn it over to you.
Okay, I brought with me Michael Brook today. He's been the CFO of the District Attorney's Office since the early 1980s. He was worked under District Attorney Tom Shriver, as well as my predecessor, District Attorney Torrey Johnson. We're lucky to have him still with the office, and he knows this budget very, very well.
Great. Do you want to start? Let's talk about the operating budget request. I know, General Funk, you have been with us throughout the budget discussions over the last several days, and we thank you for that. I think that's a testament to the fact that you were so closely and collaboratively with so many different departments. So as we're talking about these operating budget requests, if there's some other components of the partnering work that you're doing that you want to bring into this, please do.
Okay, great. We talked earlier today with the Office of Family Safety. Diane Lance was talking about the work that we're doing in building a family justice center. Thanks to the mayor's office, thanks to her work, we're going to have a family justice center built out on Murfreesboro Road that's going to be able to work to support child abuse victims, victims of domestic violence, and we will be the first in the country to where our family justice center will be able to have the space needs to accommodate all of the service providers that are going to be dealing with elderly abuse. So I want to thank you for that, and just commend the Office of Family Safety and Director Diane Lance. Dawn Diener is here today. She's our public defender, and she and I, as well as the sheriff, the general sessions judges, and Howard Gentry have been working on a steering clear proposal to try to help our citizens get driver's licenses, those who've lost their driver's licenses, and try to eliminate certain costs for the court system. And we're going to be back in a couple of weeks to talk about that PIP proposal. I've also been working with Sheriff Hall and Ms. Diener with regards to mental health issues and the mental health facility that we're building on the adjacent to the new jail. That's going to end up having dramatic cost savings for Metro as well. And I've been working with Sheila Calloway and the juvenile court judge on a restorative justice project that will end up having some not only cost savings to Metro, but really make a difference in some of our juvenile members of our community, their lives, because if we can keep them on a track to being productive citizens instead of getting themselves caught in a cycle of violence and criminal charges, then that could really make a huge impact on our community. So, you know, we're lucky to have kind of cross-government cooperation, and that's really been good for our office, and I think it's going to be good for the city.
And with that request, I know you've got some elder abuse FTE requests. I think they're not for this budget cycle, they're for next. So the ones that you have for this, I think you've got a staffing enhancement, 1 FTE, and then 4 FTEs for a contingency on the Tennessee Highway Safety Funds.
Right.
So well, talk to me about
well,
those.
Good news on the Tennessee Highway Safety Funds. We had put in, because the governor out of the blue, his budget had eliminated some positions with regards to DUI prosecutors across the state. As of last week, those are now included in the governor's ask to the legislature, and I can withdraw that because we're not going to need that $380,000. Those folks will be continue to be paid through a grant that's coming through the state.
Once again, already saved us $380,000 just right off the bat. There we go.
I'm glad to make that report. The timing of today's meeting was excellent.
Thank
you. The main push with regards to salary for the assistant district attorneys. That's at $810,000. Essentially, we have 70 assistant district attorneys. 40 are paid by the state, 30 are paid by Metro, and ever since at least the 1970s, they have been pegged to a state-mandated salary scale.
The 70 or the 30?
Well,
Or both?
the 40, but what General Shriver and General Johnson and I have done is we don't have two classes of prosecutors.
I see.
Everybody's paid, and so we are all pegged to the state salary
And
scale.
just for my own education, why did that happen in the beginning? Why, do you know why there was even these two classes created?
The DA's office, because it is a constitutional office, has always had the legislature set the salary scale. When Metro began providing some funding for additional assistant district attorneys, that was an administrative decision by the then district attorney to make sure that they got paid the same at the same rate. Our public defender's office is different. When our public defender's office predates the state public defender's offices, and ours was grandfathered in to where we pay our own pursuant to a Metro pay scale as opposed to a state pay scale. Other public defenders, other than Shelby County and Davidson County, state public defenders get paid essentially the same as what the state assistant DAs get paid.
So the 810 would do the equalization for the 30 Metro?
For all 70 assistant DAs. And the reason why we need that, we've got three main reasons why we need that. About 5 years ago, the previous administration, in dealing with my predecessor, was talking about some salary adjustment for assistant district attorneys, and General Johnson was told by Mayor Dean, well, we're going to do a salary study for all Metro employees, and we're going to make sure that we take care of the district attorneys when that gets finished. Well, that didn't get finished until last year.
Okay, but you have done a salary study, so there is some data here that shows that.
Well,
Oh, sorry.
let me get. So
I'm
what the
jumping ahead.
salary?
This is not a simple concept.
I'm right, I know, apparently
There's
not.
nothing easy about it.
I got it, okay, just making sure, okay.
But starting on, when the salary study came out, it said that lawyers that are Metro lawyers should start out between $61,000 and $83,000.
Okay.
And so if you are a starting lawyer in our public defender's office, you get paid $61,800 roughly.
In the public defender's
In a public defender's office.
Okay.
In the district attorney's office, we start out at $47,400 roughly. Now, across the country, there are many places where district attorneys get paid higher wages than public defenders. In many places, district attorneys and public defenders get paid the same. We are the only place that I know of where that is inverted to where the people that we're paying to protect the community are paid less than the lawyers that are being paid to represent people who are charged with crimes. To me, that should not go forward. That part, if the Metro study says that lawyers to start working for the city need to start out at $61,000, then we should be pretty close to that for the lawyers that are working for the city that are prosecutors.
Because what does the state say that you have to pay?
47.
Oh, the state is tied to that too?
The state has their own pay scale determined by the legislation. Let me find it. Yeah, we start out $47,652 is what we start, whereas they start out at $61,800.
What, and is that, do you know, I'm asking you a question that you may not know, so my apologies in advance. Is that the standard for any attorney that we're hiring? Like a brand new
Metro
attorney?
legal and public defenders all
Are
get
on the
paid under
same
the
pay
same
scale.
scale, right?
Okay.
And their pay scale, $61,821 is the minimum starting
Got it.
salary for a public defender.
Okay.
Or someone who's working.
But yours
Metro
is
legal.
47.
Ours is 47.
The difference is that those others are Metro employees, and from your perspective, these are considered supplements
Right,
to those, to your staff because they're considered state.
correct.
And they are on that pay scale, is that correct?
Well, we have about 40 state prosecutors and about 30 Metro prosecutors, but we pay them all pursuant to
Same.
the state scale.
Got it. So even though you may have 30 that are on the Metro pay side, they're not getting the pay, but what you're not asking for just to remedy the Metro, you're also asking to remedy both the Metro and the state. Where's the state? Do they have some money?
Yeah.
It was more of a
we're-
quick than a response.
Where's their salary study? Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friends at the legislature always consider salaries. Anyway, not only is it for that reason, but there are some other reasons why Nashville prosecutors should potentially be paid more than a prosecutor in Polk County, because our cost of living is higher, and so to have
And
a
the
local
state doesn't take any into account that.
to have a local salary adjustment would make sense, and it's done in other instances, like I think anybody that works out at the airport, the federal government will say, well, this jurisdiction, it costs more to live than others. So there's a cost of living type
So
adjustment
how
in
many
other
of your
terms.
folks are actually making 47,000?
If you look, 47,000, we probably have 5 new prosecutors this
Okay.
year. We've probably got a total of 20 of our 70 have 5 years or less
So they'd still be in
experience.
that 5.
And so they would, and they get a bump of about 5% a year. But for us, you have to have been a prosecutor for 5 years before you get into the lower 60s.
Okay, before you're hitting the metro.
Mm-hmm.
How does this impact you on recruiting? I'm just curious.
Well, that's the third reason. Number one, we're trying to recruit the best law firm in the state to be prosecutors that are standing up for our community. We've lost 3 prosecutors that we've had for a handful of years just within the last 6 months, and all of them took jobs that paid roughly $10,000 more. We had one leave for the Department of Health working for the state. We had another leave and take a job as a prosecutor in Memphis, who was getting a little bit more because Memphis was giving her a little bit more salary. And the third just left for the TBI, making roughly $8,000 more than we're making. So we've got this investment in some of our prosecutors, and then other agencies can come in and raid us when we ought to be the ones that are bringing in the best lawyers from around the state. So it's really a protection of our investment. It is a ratification that we are at least as valuable to the city as our public defenders are. And it's really about the fact that Nashville has a little bit higher cost of living than anywhere else in the state. And so we ought to be able to recognize that and value our assistant DAs in this manner. And it really goes up. Public defenders can top out at up to 148. Our prosecutors top out at 123. But there are also, and I've met with Ms. Diener several times on this, there are times when if we do a state plus 10, which is what we're saying, $10,000 per prosecutor. If we're doing the state salary scale plus 10,000, there will be times when a state prosecutor would be paid slightly higher than an assistant public defender with the same amount of service. But there are many other times when they'd be paid slightly less, but it would bring it into a rough equilibrium to where you wouldn't feel like we were being underpaid to be prosecutors as opposed to someone else who's on the other side of a case.
So let me ask you another question on this, and maybe Talia, you know this. Since there has to be a proportionality related to the funds that we allocate to the public defender and to you at the same time, if we do this equalization, what is then the same component that I have to do on the flip side to the PD, or is that only on staff?
Well, no, it's for
It's total.
increases in budget.
It's budget, okay.
They're supposed to get 75% of any increase that we get. Hopefully we would have enough to do that, but if we didn't, I would see this as a reconciliation of the changes that were made in staffing and salaries that were made last year, where we were essentially left out of the salary study.
So there would also be probably another 100,000 or so that, or I guess a little bit more than that.
Yeah. And you may want to describe for the mayor exactly what your proposal is, because you are planning to equalize salaries across the board and not just the entry level
Right, what we would-
ADA. So
well,
I just want to make sure she understands that.
We have step raises that happen every year of being an assistant DA from the first year to the 25th year, and at that point you top out. So you start out at 7, you end up at 123, and what this would do is would give a $10,000 a year, essentially you would be taking what your state salary is plus $10,000. So essentially every assistant DA in the office would be getting a $10,000
We get
raise.
10,000.
And,
Is this a
and
one?
it's
but
not
this is-
weighted.
This is not, then you're not coming back next year and asking then for another 10,000.
What we're asking for is for this to be,
No, but I mean like in addition, like,
we're not gonna come back next year and say we want $20,000
Right,
more than
right.
more than state pays.
Okay.
We're gonna stay, we're,
okay,
state plus 10 is what we're asking for.
one time, state plus 10, okay. And then that would become a recurring expense, I got you. Right, exactly.
Right.
Okay,
The only other request we had monetarily is for one extra victim witness coordinator who would be in charge of the jail docket. Folks who've just been arrested, they come up for court in 5 to 10 days for a preliminary hearing. If it's a very serious case, then the victim witness coordinator who's going to be handling the case at criminal court usually does that and deals with the victims that are on the docket that day. The problem is that usually that victim witness coordinator has a trial or has some hearings going on in criminal court as well, and so the coordinator's having to staff 2 different dockets at once. If we had one person who was dedicated to doing all of the jail docket cases every week, then we'd be able to give better service to the citizens that have just recently become victimized and be able to provide better service. So we're asking for one additional position there.
okay. And just because we've heard from the state trial courts, we've heard from the sheriff, we've heard from all the family safety on the DO, what are they?
Family justice.
Order of protection.
Order of protection.
That requires no additional staffing from you, there's no.
By law, we cannot participate in an order of protection because that's a civil.
Right, so that just
And the
make it-
Attorney General says the district attorneys cannot be present for that.
Got it, so there's nothing from your perspective?
No.
Okay, all right. Body cameras.
Body cameras. I was unable to be present when the police department met with you this morning because I was over at watching a hearing that was taking place over in General Sessions Court. My understanding was that we have already given the go-ahead for 160 body cams, and they're asking for substantially more. Is that
No,
where
sir.
we are?
What the request is that in this budget process, we will decide how many cameras to allocate. What the police are asking for is to fully fund them, which would be, they're asking for 3,200 body cameras, which would give each police officer two, and then 300 in reserve. So,
We will have staffing needs because we will have to have paralegals who review all of the footage. We'll have to have lawyers that then get the data from the paralegals. We'll have to have people who can redact, whether it's part of the tape that's not relevant or individuals that might be private citizens that shouldn't be on the video.
well, the police have asked for some IT configurations and staffing for exactly that as well. Is that a redundancy, or is that you all are asking for, or is, because I think I've got a request here for 40 FTEs for body cameras.
There will not be a redundancy
Okay.
because if they are able to redact things that have to do with privacy interests, then they'll be able to do that. But we will still have to redact some things with regards to preparing a video to be played in court or to give to the defense attorney in discovery.
Okay.
We figure the industry standards seem to be one paralegal for every 40 body cameras.
Okay. So what you're, so,
and
since I
then-
just gave you the new number.
And then one lawyer for every 10 paralegals.
Okay.
So, you know, I don't know that we would necessarily, if we've got 2 body cameras per officer, I don't know that we would necessarily need, I think we can cut
I
that
think
number in
this-
half.
the-
I think
Right.
those are backup cameras.
Those are backup
Right.
cameras.
I'm not sure you need
It would be
Yeah.
the cameras that are live.
1,400 roughly.
Yeah.
If it's 1,400 live, then 40 goes into that 35 times roughly, if my math's correct. 35 paralegals and probably 4 lawyers. Is what we will need.
I think it's fair to say that this will not be in effect until probably July of next year at the earliest.
I would think that would
Based
be.
on
That's
what-
their
Based on
What
the
the-
timing, just to order them and all that, and so
RFP.
I would hope that there would be a lot of time to spend,
We will have much better numbers and exactly why we need
Right,
every
and-
one of these
and
positions before
find
we
out,
ask.
yeah, why the police,
for
what
the
they're gonna do,
resources.
just
Right.
have the interaction between the police and everyone, so that,
It is great that the mayor's office is already looking forward to the downstream costs beyond just the purchase of these, because there's gonna be a lot with regards to personnel that are gonna be required. My office, public defender's office, there's probably gonna have some impact on the clerk's office as well, storage for Metro for all this data.
Yep.
we
Right,
are-
I think that's all part of the RFP and the discussions for.
Y'all are being wise to make sure that you know that a
There's
little bit
more.
about
Oh,
what's,
yeah. No,
what's
that's-
coming down the pike.
Well, that's why I appreciate that you flagged it in your own comments here. I think we've already talked about the VAPIT, we talked about that at an earlier thing.
Right, and we're not asking for extra lawyers to handle elder abuse yet, though we do expect that by next year, we'll have a feel for exactly how many cases. I said this morning that in our first VAPIT meeting, where the interdisciplinary APS, Adult Protective Services, the DAs, and the police department met, in the first 6 weeks of the year, there were 162 referrals of, these are an incident. Does this need to turn into a case? Does this need to be handled through just APS? But if we're already talking 162 in our very first meeting,
Right.
then it very well could be that by next year we will be ready to come and say we need these additional personnel to prosecute these cases.
And then last but certainly not least, the relocation of the grand jury room. Do you want to talk about that for a second?
Is it the April grand jury or the July grand jury that should be? The July grand jury, we should have a new grand jury room.
Because right now it's down over,
It's on the 5th floor of the Washington Square building.
right,
The new grand jury room will be built in a space that is adjacent to our space on the 4th floor. That will, should enhance the grand jury's ability to do their work, and that will give us the opportunity to build out what is currently the grand jury space, to make sure that lawyers have offices, support staff, and then storage of files close to where the lawyers are needing to be able to pull their files. So that is on pace, and the grand jury room should be up and functioning by the start of the July term of the grand jury. The attorney space will then be built out over the next 3 to 4 months, and we should have those lawyers in place
okay,
by that time.
great. Tanya?
I'm good.
Okay.
We've spent time together.
All right.
Great, again,
Awesome.
it's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to see you.
I appreciate it.
Have a good rest of your day.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it, thank you.